Hi, this is Joe again with another review. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing the live action Fox production of A Christmas Story, or A Christmas Story Live. We just broadcasted just just last night. so I'm going to do a review of it for you. And of course, so it's Maya Rudolph, so it's Matthew Broderick. Has Jane Kazmarek, not Kazmarek, Jane Krakowski from Alan McBeal was in this thing. And of course, this movie, of course, is based on the widely popular my stupid sciences. It is based on the widely popular 1983 film of the same name. Of course, this movie, of course, is extremely popular and is shown constantly on TBS, 24 hours straight on TBS and TNT. And of course, but this particular version of A Christmas Story is actually based on a musical. I think it was like last year, 2 years ago, there was a Broadway musical made of A Christmas Story. And it ended on bordering on temporary run from between just before Thanksgiving to about just after Christmas, or like on January 1 or something. So they had a very limited run. It's kind of like the Radio City Christmas show, the Radio City musical, the Rockettes, which also has a limited run every year. Same thing with the Christmas Story musical. So that's what this Fox production was. And I think the problem is that I think that these live musical productions that first started on NBC, with the Sound of Music, and then the god awful Peter Pan. Well, Sound of Music was not that much better. It says that it was a more popular musical, but these shows were just after the Sound of Music was on, every live action production show that was either NBC or in this case Fox. This was like the second one on Fox. It says too big, overblown. They're all on the stupid sound stages, and you have at least the two Fox live musicals they had on. You had a stupid studio audience which applauded, during these big musical numbers, and it's just getting too annoying. I think that's what I think a lot of the complaints are, particularly for the Christmas Story. It's just particularly too annoying, and that's one thing that was edited out, which I want to get to in a minute. Of course, you can say that it's based on the 83 film Christmas Story, and who doesn't know the story? I mean, come on, you have to like be brain dead not to know the story of what was the plot of A Christmas Story. You have to be like brain dead or something, or be people who are in the Democratic Party completely brain dead to know what the plot is. Well, the plot is about this little kid Ralphie who. For Christmas in 1940. So you have to imagine this was in 1940. And of course now complaints is, of course, hey, where's the computers? No computers in this story, no cell phones, none of this stuff, because it's supposed to be based in 1940. I mean, it's not, today. So I think that's probably why some of the complaints was, because there's no computers, no cell phones, no TV, because there really was no TV. Really, back then in 1940. It was invented, but nobody had it in their homes in 1940. I mean, it was like non-existent. Until 1948, when TV shows started being made. So that's probably why people can't relate to the Christmas Story anymore, because it's 1940. It's not, 2017. But you also had Matthew Broderick as an narrator on this thing. So instead of having a voiceover, you have Matthew Broderick actually standing there in the scenes, in the background, narrating. And he's that bit with Matthew Broderick. I mean, I don't have any disrespect for Matthew Broderick, except when he hosted Obama for a fundraiser in his house. That's the only real criticism I have for the guy. But to have him standing in the background, it's like somebody standing over my shoulder, narrating or interrupting my video to tell you what's going on in the video. That's what Matthew Broderick was doing. He was acting as the narrator. As an older Ralphie, narrating, so this Red Ryder BB gun and all this. There was a Road Childhood toy, and every kid wanted one of these things, and he's going on and on, interrupting the stuff, and it just really disrupted the flow. At least, in the movie, it really didn't do that because it didn't physically see the guy who was the narrator or the older Ralphie physically in the scene, just him as a voiceover. Usually those voiceovers usually work in movies, like A Christmas Story or in The Sandlot or any other film you could think of. But on this TV production, the guy has to be physically in the scene, and that was annoying. Instead of having Matthew Broderick actually doing a voiceover, you see him physically in the scenes, and eventually, over a 3-hour production, it eventually became very annoying, and it became annoying after a while. And even there was actually one moment where it actually did screw up. I forgot what it was. If they had to do with something like with beer or something, and he kind of goofed the lineup. And when it got closer and closer for the production to on television, Matthew Broderick became nervous of screwing up on television. I mean, I'm like, seriously? I mean, the guy's been a professional actor for over 30 years, almost 40 years now, and practically his whole life. And he's been working in the theater and working. He worked at the Producers. He was the original actor in the TV show, and the Broadway show The Producers with Nathan Lane, doing 8 performances a week in front of a live audience. And he's worried about doing on a live audience on TV. I mean, come on. I mean, seriously? Seriously? He's nervous about that after working on The Producers for so many years? I mean, come on. The guy is like, what, 50... what was it, like 56, 57 years old, and he's working for most of his life for about 40 years, and he gets nervous in front of doing a live TV broadcast of A Christmas Story. I mean, come on, I mean, seriously? I mean, I didn't buy that stuff for as much as you can, for about $1 billion. I didn't buy that stuff for a minute. I mean, come on. I mean, the guy's supposed to be a professional actor. All professional actors, at one time or another, has done a live thing. Either a Broadway show or play or musical or something like that. True, you don't have live broadcasts on television anymore. Everything's practically all taped, except for once or twice a year when you have now these live broadcasts. But I feel that the novelty of this live broadcasts are really dying out. I mean, I don't think it's such a novelty anymore. And not only that, but it's such annoying stuff now. Especially the changes. Considering the fact that they have black characters, or black kids, or black actors in the Christmas Story. Of course, if any of you will watch my reviews, you know my pet peeve is. And my pet peeve is when they change the racial makeup of the cast. That's to put a black person in there. Or a Hispanic person in there. And it's really effing annoying. And of course, the only people who actually, any ethnic people in the other than whites were in the original Christmas Story movie was Asians, because you all know what the last scene was. Really went out to Chinese dinner. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Of course, the movie, they do have some great production films. Well, Chinese, they're the only people who should be in this movie. There are no blacks in this movie at all, no Hispanics, no anything else. But you just have white people in here. And I guess maybe the people got annoyed, we got to put a black person in there, so people won't complain that the show is racist. Or you have Al Sharpton protesting the Fox Network for not having any blacks in this thing. Who cares? You have to keep it if you're doing a remake, you have to keep it as the racial makeup with the original cast put in the remake. Doesn't matter what kind of a thing it is, that's what the story is. There's no blacks in the Christmas Story. So you should keep it that. They should keep it that way. Or kept it that way. Actually, of course, there were several scenes that were from the movie that kept in here. Like when Ralphie beats up the bullies. But it was like too slow. I mean, it was like harder. It was like when Ralphie was really tackling the bullies and beating the crap out of them. you really felt the punches, and it went boom, okay, boom, boom, and it was a much slower pace with the punches. And the movie was like this, in the movie, this fast, and the television was like this because they didn't really actually hit the kid, I guess, or he was like, they do it in wrestling when they don't really hit the guy, like they clipping a guy, like I'm doing to myself now, so like that really, hit somebody, like doing it myself, I'm really hitting myself now, but I'm saying, clip somebody like this, to make him pretend they hit him and pretend they really getting hurt, like they do it in wrestling, but you could tell he wasn't really hitting him. And he wasn't really throwing the punches hard. It was going real slow and easy. You could tell he was like throwing his punches. He's not throwing real hard punches. He was faking it. But in the movie, you can really see him hitting it hard in the movie. But here, you can tell. Oh, come on, that was so fake. That fight scene with the bully was all fake. Of course, there was one part that was cut out from the original movie, and that is, of course, people won't buy it. Today, kids today won't buy it. But when Ralphie was listening to the radio show Little Orphan Annie, and he was a part of Little Orphan Annie fan club, and he has this code to decode. And we're going to give him the radio show, and he says, "Oh wow, this is going to be really fascinating, really cool stuff." And the code was spelled out, "Drink your Ovaltine." A commercial for the kids drink Ovaltine. And that's what it was in the radio show. And that part that cut out. I don't think the kids relate to that in 1940, when the Christmas story was supposed to be based in, or the year it was supposed to be based in, had radio shows. That's how you kids get the entertainment, by listening to the radio, or different radio shows. Kids say, "Oh, shows on the radio," and they go like, "What's a radio?" The kids today, they don't know what a radio is. That's how dumb the kids are. They don't know what radio is. So the scene was cut out with the Little Orphan Annie, but with the Drink Your Ovaltine scene. But just about every scene was in. Of course, we know what happens after when they had the whole famous. Then when the kid gets the BB gun and he comes down with the bunny suit, and they had all that stuff. Of course, what happens is, of course, the dinner gets ruined, but the neighbor's dogs come in, ruin the dinner. And I thought it was, this scene was better than the scene that was in the original movie, because the original movie was a little more violent, and how vicious the dogs were, because they were Rottweilers, those dogs, in the original movie. This one didn't have Rottweilers in this one, but the dogs were trained to do that scene, and one dog just reaches up, grabs the turkey in his mouth, and runs out the door. I thought that was so cute. I thought that was adorable, because it was more, the scene in the Christmas Story Live was cuter than the scene in the movie, because the movie was just funny. This was funny too, but it was more cute because it wasn't as violent as it was in the movie. Of course, you also had the scene when Ralphie sees Santa Claus in the mall and he kicks him in the head, says "Ho ho ho," and you shoot your eye out. Of course, they did do a musical number with that premise. You shoot your eye out, kid. With the teacher, Jane Kazmarek, as the I know I'm mispronouncing her name, doing that bit. "Oh, you shoot your eye out, kid," and that type of thing, which was funny. Of course, when the dinner gets destroyed, what do? They go to the Chinese restaurant at the end of the movie, and that's how the original movie actually ends, with that scene in the Chinese restaurant with the Chinese workers going, singing "fa la 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 la" to the family, Bally. And of course, they had the whole restaurant to themselves in the movie. Well, in the Christmas Story Live, you actually did have the ultimate stereotypical Jewish joke, Jewish Christmas joke in this thing. And there's, of course, the famous scene where Ralphie says the F word, and he says, "Oh, my name Schwartz told me I picked it up from him." Instead of saying picking it up from Dad, and picked it up from him, from the kid Schwartz, the Jewish guy, the Jewish kid. So Anyway, in the Chinese restaurant, they had a Jewish family there. At the Chinese restaurant, oh, we're here all by ourselves. We have all restaurant to ourselves. And Mrs. Schwartz says, "Hey, that's not true. We're here." "No, hi, Mrs. Schwartz." "Yeah," and it says, "And after we finish here, we're gonna go to the movie." You know, that's like the ultimate Jewish joke. Jews on Christmas Day, they're going to have Chinese food to a movie and have Chinese food, or vice versa. Go to a Chinese restaurant, then go to the movie afterwards. That's the ultimate, Jewish joke. They use that joke in The Simpsons as well. When Krusty gets bar mitzvahed, and his father, the rabbi, says, "Oh, you have." It says here in the Torah, you have to have Chinese food on Christmas. They use that joke in The Simpsons as well, and they did it in this one. That was not in the original movie, that joke. They just threw that in there. They just threw that stereotypical joke in there just to, make fun of the Jews. That's the only reason why they make fun of us. That all we do on Christmas is have Chinese food and go to the movie. Well, that's because there's nobody in the movie, so it's great to get a scene there. But they charge you extra now. They charge you like double. And your movie thing is now, it's true. I'm not making a joke, not being funny about it. They do charge you double if you go to a movie on Christmas Eve. Because they up the prices for Christmas Eve. Right? And Christmas Day, they up the prices for it. That's why movies make so much now. Because they increase the prices. Anyway, that's how it ends. Actually, it ends with an actual musical number. They walk out of the restaurant and they do a whole big musical spiel. But the problem is that I think those musical bits go way too long because they have to pad it out. For a 3-hour show, they have to pad, Fox padded this thing out, and it's just totally unnecessary. I don't mind if they do a live production of Christmas Story, but they had to make a musical out of it. I know it's based on the Broadway musical version, but the songs in this thing are not that great. Telling the truth, the songs are pretty terrible. The only sequence I really liked is the one with Jane Kosmarek or Jane Krakowski, whatever her last name is, doing that whole dancing routine. I thought with the kids, I thought that was a pretty good sequence. But most of the bit, and the only other sequence or song I actually did like was the one when Ralphie fights the bully. And the mother's trying to console him, and she sings a song to him. And she sings a song, and there's one of those moments, and moments go by, and life goes, she sings "Life Goes On." I thought that song was pretty good. Of all the songs in this thing, that one and the one where the teacher is dancing with the kids, that was the only two really musical numbers I actually liked in this thing. Other than that, I thought that this bit was horrible. I thought that Matthew Broderick singing in the classroom like he was one of the students, I thought that was annoying. I thought his appearances in the scenes were just overdone, just silly. I thought it was dumb. But I do like the actual plot of the Christmas Story. I think it's funny, and all that type of thing. And like I said earlier, I like the movie. But this musical version on the Christmas Story Live, I think it was. I don't have to say it's good because I like the plot and I like the kid who played Ralphie. I thought he was good. He looked just like Peter Billingsley, who originally played the part in the film. I thought that was good. I like Maya Rudolph as the mother; she was also good. Not great, but passable. And Jane Kosmarek as the teacher, I thought she was good. Of course, they had the kid who stung his tongue on a pole as black, which I mentioned earlier. I didn't mention it yet. The kid who sticks the famous scene when he sticks his tongue on the flagpole. They changed him from a white kid to black, because we gotta put a black kid in here. That was unnecessary to put a black kid in there, because you have to keep it. If you're making a remake of a show or a famous movie, you have to keep the color of the cast the same. If it's an all-white cast, you have to hire all-white actors. If you have like one or two blacks in there for whatever character it is, then you have to keep the character black. Or if the character is Asian, you have to keep the character Asian, and not change to be politically correct. Put a black kid in there. or whatever, or make or put a token white person in there. Make an all white production to an all black production. I mean, that's why I hate that's my pet peeve, and they did that in a Christmas Story. So in the review of A Christmas Story live, please click on the video, please rate it, feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel, please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my videos on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com, it's OWDY, and that's C.com. On the homepage of Rowdy Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore. Please check out all of his videos on his website as well. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.